everybody? Old Guy Jamming here. Trying to get to 3,000. So hit that sub button. Do me a solid. Hey, Adrian. How's it going? Nathan, Evan, the usual suspects. Hey, today we're going to talk about a few things, quite a few things. I made a list that can help you become a better guitar player pretty darn quick. So take these things to heart. Let's dive right in. All right, try new picks and strings. You know, forever I was a 10 through 46 slinky guy, super slinky 10 through 46. Then I started to go out a little bit, and I have found that different strings make a difference on your guitar. Whoa, mind blower. Especially as I get older, for some reason, I'm starting to appreciate the lighter gauge strings. All right, now nickel wound 9.5s, that's a pretty cool deal. 9.5 to 44, just a tad bit lighter. It's not all the way down to a 9, but it is a little bit lighter than the 10 through 46. Great deal. So check those out. Throw them on one of your guitars, and don't see if you just really like a little softer string. A little string that's a little more slack. Now, Slinky wasn't making those for a while. Those are Diodarios. But hey, what do you know? Slinky's now got, or Ernie Ball, I should say, but the Slinky brand, they've got the 9.5 but through 46. Okay, so you still have that 46 bottom string, but you're a little lighter on top. 9.5 and 12 and 16. So it's just a little lighter on that high E string. Worth checking out. The M Steel. I don't have a package for the M Steel, but I'm looking forward to getting another some point, because I did throw them on a contemporary Telecaster. I went down to a 9 for that sucker, and yet they still felt kind of stiff like a 10 through 46. Now, somebody did tell me it was because of the scale length on that particular guitar, but I think they have a different feel. I think it's a smaller string, but still feels a little stiff like a bigger string. So, you know, and what if you could get the sturdiness or you know what I'm trying to say, what if you could get the feel and the vibration characteristics, the tightness of a smaller string? You could work the string better, but it would still resonate like a thicker, heavier string for like lower tunings. If you could get lower tunings with a string that was stable but smaller, I would think that's a good thing. All right, and then ask your managers and store owners and whatnot about different stuff. My new best friend at Guitar Center is Josh, new manager down here in the Sacramento area. Dude's been a wealth of information so far, and get you killer deals. All right, he told me, well, I was talking to him about strings, and he said, these are supposed to be nice and bright, the Slinky Cobalt electric guitar strings, engineered for maximum output and clarity. I have a Wolfgang Special that is a darker guitar than some of my others. One thing that has bothered me a little bit about it was that it was overall darker in its character. So I, had to play particular amps with it, or it sounded just kind of down. Anyway, I threw a pair of these on, and wouldn't you know it, I think the darn thing's brighter, which is cool, because now I can play it with a wider variety of amps. It still has that great, unique Wolfgang tone, but it just helped liven up the guitar a bit, which was really awesome. All right, so check that out. And then picks. Oh my gosh, this is the most exciting thing. So I'm glad you've stayed tuned up through this point. Picks. I got lots and lots and lots of picks. I've got picks, all sorts of picks. I got tusk picks, I got nylon picks, I got celluloid picks, which are great for acoustics, but not so much for electric. I even have, check this thing out, I have an original pick. Will that focus in? Come on, focus. Look at that. An original pick from back in the day. It's got the little marks on it that I put in there with a soldering iron to give it some more grip, because I was just sweaty all the time. The edges are worn way down, just knife-like right there on one side, and then the other side right there. I don't know if you can see that, but look at the edge on that sucker. The camera doesn't work real well unless I black out the background, but put those friction grooves in it with a soldering iron. I figure this pick's probably 35 years old. I have no idea how it made the journey all these years. Probably gotten down in the bottom of a gear bag or a cable bag or something. But here it is. And that's really cool. But I'm a pick guy. And for years, I mean, there's my Tortix Blue picks. There's a couple of others in there. But I'm a Tortix Blue guy. Have been for decades. Used to play the purples. Now I play the blues. But at Guitar Center, I was talking to Josh. And Josh said, hey, man, you gotta try these Hetfield White Fang picks. All right, there it is. There's the wolf. There's the name, Hetfield White Fang. These feel like Tusk, and they might be, but I've played Tusk, and these are a lot more fun to play. But this sucker will make you a better guitar player in about a minute. It does have grip on it. The wolf is emboldened, raised slightly. The lettering is all raised slightly. There is a little bit of a knife edge on the tip. It's smaller than a regular Tortix or Dunlop style pick, but it's super light, but yet it's firm. All right, well, this is a 1.1 or something, but it's lighter, and it's just so easy to move that this will make you it's made me a better guitar player instantly. The other interesting pick that I was looking at were the Ultex. These suckers, they're also kind of a new thing, Ultex, and they're called knife edge or sharps. Might be sharps, but 0.73, and then there's a 1.1 as well. These are great too, but there's a little more scratch in the chugga chugga, and I don't like a lot of scratch sound when I'm picking. These don't have as much bite. These do. Hang on till the end of the video. Maybe we'll show you what I'm talking about. Okay, other cool picks though. Tortix Flow. Right here, the Tortix Flow come in, of course, different standards, different sizes, I should say. And they're kind of unique. Still the same material as the blue, but now they've put a little bit of a knife edge on there, a little bit of edge around the tip. Still have the Rock Climbers powder on it, so it's a little, it's got that nice grip, but it's smaller than the standard size by just a little bit. A little bit smaller than the standard pick, and this is a 1.5, and they feel really good too. So, in fact, I like them better than all these blue ones I have. You want some picks? Brand new, cheap. All right, so that's picks and strings. Now, number 3, you could say. I don't want to try and keep track of numbers because you know how that goes. You forget where you're at. But we could say number 3 is to practice. Okay, that's the obvious one, no-brainer. So practice, but play live. Go out and get a barbecue or a sandwich giveaway to homeless people or a wedding or your church worship group, but play live. That'll make you get better real quick. Learn to read tab, learn to read chords. Know your basic chords and learn to read tab, because you can't play a Disturbed song with knowing chords. You're going to have to learn tab. But you can't play a worship song or a country song without knowing chords. Okay? So learn to do both. Now, learn songs. Not so much so that you can play a lot of cover songs, but because the act of learning a song teaches you how songs are created, how they're arranged with verse and chorus and bridges and whatnot. You'll start to see the patterns. You'll start to get a feel for how the harmonic verse is just sometimes changed a little bit to create the chorus. The same notes are just kind of rearranged so that the melodies are more familiar as you move from verse to chorus, and then the bridge is a variation of the 4th note, usually in the scale that the song is played in. Okay, and then another thing happens too. I was learning Yngwie song recently, and it's way too hard for me to play. I've learned the song, I can play it, but I can only play it at about half speed. But it lends itself towards other songs that then I come up with, because after all, what is music but an amalgamation of everything we've heard and seen and witnessed and felt over the spans of our lives? That's where music comes from. And so is there really anything original? Well, sometimes I think so, but mostly It's just from people and artists do this all the time. You hear something, you like it, you come up with something that's similar but different enough that you can call it your own. So, and the same thing happened with Disturbed songs. I've learned a couple of Disturbed songs lately, not so that I can play them verbatim, but so that I can then play it the way I would have written it. And who's to say that's not the way the song should have been written in the first place? Right? Right. Okay, moving on down. Now, alternate between acoustic and electric guitars. Don't always just play electric and don't always play acoustic. You will benefit from moving back and forth between the two. Practice. Have we said practice already? We did, but practice with a timepiece. Get you a metronome or a drum machine, something. Often I will run into people who have a very undeveloped sense of timing. They may be an adequate guitar player, have knowledge of the instrument, excuse me, be able to play tunes, but their timing, excuse me, is terrible. So get used to practicing with a timepiece and then practice songs 10 beats per minute faster and 10 beats per minute slower than the standard way of playing it. Hallelujah is a good one that I can think of. Play it a little faster, but with a timepiece. And then play it slower, much slower than it's intended to be played. This will really help knock you away from your internal rhythm that we all have. I'm about 118 beats per minute is where I live, 118 to 120. And I tend to go to that, and it's not good for me to always go to that. I need to break out and play some things faster. It really helps to go down and play several things slower from time to time. All right, so get a drum machine or a metronome, and then learn to set up your own gear. The more you are familiar with how your guitar works, the more you will enjoy setting it up so that it just becomes a better and better and better instrument. When it's not satisfying, you'll know why. You'll know when to change strings. You'll know when to check relief. You'll know when to take that high fret down. You'll know when to intonate. Because it's just, setting up a guitar is not something you do one time. It takes months, sometimes years of subtle tweaks, massages, changes, I think, before you get an instrument that's one of those that's just, love it. Okay, learn the anatomy of the major scale. It's just will blow your mind if you're not already familiar with the major scale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Learn the notes in that and realize that the major scale is the first, third, and fifth note of the scale. The major chord, I should say. The major chord is the first, third, and fifth. If you drop the third, it becomes a minor scale. If you use the fourth, it becomes a suspended fourth. If you use 1 and 2, it's a suspended second. So there's all those really cool things that are worthwhile to know. Okay, it's not a theory overload, but it's just an amazing thing of music, and it will help guide you as your ear develops. You'll be able to start searching for, I want a 7th chord there, or I want a minor 7th, and you'll start hearing those in the music you listen to even. You'll start hearing that sort of thing, and you'll be able to find notes better when you're searching for them. All right, and practice. Did we say practice? We did, but this time practice modes. You're going to practice something anyway, so just start practicing the modes and then replay them so that you have fingers 1, 3, 4 playing and 1, 2, 4 playing mostly. Make your changes from bottom string to top string so that you're always playing combinations of 1, 3, 4 or 1, 2, 4. You'll get up and down the neck better, and they're easier to play for trills and or just alternating finger runs. Of course, a couple of them you can do with the 1, 2, 4 spread, where you've got lots of spread on your fingers, but replay them, learn them, but practice them, and then learn them so that you're combining them with 1, 3, 4 and 1, 2, 4 combinations. I did a video on that some time ago. Really helps make them fun and easier to play. All right, and play in the 4th pentatonic. Now, this is kind of an interesting idea. How many of us just always go to the first position of the pentatonic? We do. That just happens. I think part of Angus's genius is he plays a lot in the last position. Is it the fourth or the fifth position? Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. It might be the fifth position, but just a position down from the first position. You know, the first position is 3 frets skipped, then 2, then 2, then 3, then 3, then 3. And the position down from that is 2, 2, 3, 3, 2, 2. But start playing in that position to break out of always playing in the first position of the pentatonic. And practice. Oh, did I say practice? Yeah, but this time practice looking up or close your eyes. Look somewhere else, then right down at your hand. Get your eyes off the guitar and look up. Look at people. Look at a chord chart. Look at a scale chart. Look at Sports Illustrated swimsuit issue. I don't care what you look at, but quit looking at your hand and start looking up and feel for the notes and train your hand to move where it needs to without you having to watch it all the time. In basketball, for little kids, they make goggles that have a little shelf that comes out so the kids can't see the ball as they're dribbling without really looking down. You know, it just shuts off this, so it forces you to have to look up. It's a great training tool. So I recommend the same thing for practicing the guitar. And then play along with your favorite band. Can't tell you how many hours I used to spend with Scorps cranked up or Yngwie cranked up or Metallica or whoever. And then just make sure your guitar is tuned to the same key as the band. And then just shred out, you know. Spend a couple of hours just having fun. Now, this is one of my favorites. Within Temptation. It's a great album. It's got great time changes. It has key changes. It's catchy music. Really great. Look it up on YouTube if you like. Fantastic album and great fun to play with. And then when I was giving lessons, I used to have my kids read Chapter 2 from this book, The Music Lesson, because Chapter 2 here deals with, and this was also recommended to people by Uncle Ben, but Chapter 2 right here deals with the idea of playing. Go ahead and just sometimes make noise and play. Play not in the sense of play the guitar, but play in the sense of play in the sandbox, play a game, play for fun. Play like you would play with your friends, playing catch or playing something else. Just enjoy, mistakes and all, but just play, unabashedly play. Just play and take it all in. Some of the best licks, I think, or musical ideas that I've come up with have been from mistakes where I was just playing or not looking at my hand and I hit a weird note, but it sparked something in my head. Ooh, oh, that was cool. And it developed into something that was different than what I usually play because we all get into ruts. You know what I'm talking about? All right. So that's it. Please, again, hit that subscribe button. Share this stuff up. Trying to get to 3,000 subs. Stevie T's trying to get to 3 million. I'm trying to get to 3K, and I'm trying to beat him there. So have a great time playing this one wonderful instrument we've all decided to play. Take care of yourself and take care of each other, and we'll see you next time. Oh my gosh, take 47.